Imagine a man whose mind is so powerful, it creates the world's first mechanical calculator. Yet a mind so fragile, he is terrified to walk across his own study. He is convinced that a giant, dark abyss is following him, an infinite, silent hole opening up just inches from the left side of his chair. Here is the brutal truth. As the Book of Ecclesiastes warns, "For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow." The logical solution to an infinite universe is not more calculation, but a neurological prescription. You must move the truth from the abstract heights of your brain to the physical weight against your heart. In 1654, the brilliant French scientist Blaise Pascal was crossing a bridge when his horses bolted. The carriage dangled over a precipice. Pascal survived, but the abyss moved inside him. On the night of November 23rd, he experienced a mystical vision of fire. He frantically scribbled a series of verses onto a parchment, folded it, and sewed it into the lining of his coat. For the rest of his life, whenever panic threatened to swallow him, he didn't reach for a book. He reached into his garment and pressed that parchment against his ribs. Today, we are deconstructing the Pascal anxiety verse method. We are going to look at the 3 biblical anchors he used to stop his overthinking, and how he used physical touch to ground his nervous system. Anchor 1. The intellectual piece. John 17:3. Pascal's first battle was with his own genius. He was trapped in a mathematical infinity. He realized that trying to think his way out of a panic attack was like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. His primary intellectual anchor was John 17:3. Now this is eternal life, that they know you, the only true God. He shifted his focus from the God of philosophers and scholars to a personal relationship. This was a strategic pivot from the abstract to the relational. By focusing on knowing rather than analyzing, he forced his brain to exit the infinite loop of logic. Your overthinking thrives on complexity. Peace thrives on the simple recognition of a presence. Pascal used this verse to tell his brain, the universe is not a math problem to be solved. It is a home to be inhabited. Anchor 2. The discipline mantra. Psalm 119:16. Pascal understood that an anxious mind is a mind that has forgotten its own center. Whenever he felt his thoughts slipping back into the abyss, he used a short, repetitive mantra from Psalm 119. I will not forget thy word. He didn't use this as a prayer. He used it as a neurological override. In modern terms, this is thought stopping. By repeating a fixed truth, he was reclaiming his cognitive bandwidth. He wasn't arguing with the intrusive thoughts. He was simply refusing to forget the ground beneath his feet. The secret to quieting the mind is not to fight the shadow, but to stubbornly remember the light. Anchor 3. The commitment verse. The deepest part of Pascal's anxiety was the fear of being abandoned in the eternal silence of space. To counter this, he sewed the words of Ruth into his doublet. Wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you stay, I will stay. This addressed the cosmic silence with a promise of divine presence. While the universe felt vast and empty, these words made it feel intimate and loyal. He used this verse to anchor himself in a narrative of commitment rather than a narrative of chaos. If you feel abandoned by your own mind, You need a commitment verse, a statement of fact that tells your nervous system that you are not alone in the dark. The strategy, the verse in the coat technique. Here is the masterstroke of the Pascal Method. It was physical. Pascal understood that in a state of high anxiety, the brain is disconnected from the body. By sewing the 8 to 10 biblical references into his coat, the parchment was always resting against his chest. The weight of the paper against his ribs was a grounding technique before the term existed. When the panic started, he didn't go looking for a Bible on a shelf. He reached into his clothes. The physical sensation of the parchment acted as a sensory anchor, pulling him out of the abyss of his mind and back into the reality of his body. He treated these verses as a neurological prescription, applied directly to the site of the pain. The strategist's conclusion: Blaise Pascal died at the age of 39. The parchment was found by a servant only after his body was cold. It was still sewn into the lining of his last coat. Pascal didn't find peace by being the smartest man in the room. He found it by being the man who carried his truth the closest. He understood that logic can build a calculator, but only a memorial can build a soul. As he wrote in his memorial, certitude, certitude, feeling, joy, peace. He didn't argue for these things. He felt them through the fabric of his coat. You don't need to be a 17th century genius to use this. Pick your anchor, make it physical, and when the abyss calls, reach for the truth you've sewn into your life.